Alright, it's recording now, Lauren.
I haven't got a text saying they're turning up yet, right? Yeah, they normally send texts about this.
Things are set up on a two-screen thing, so you need to drag your president.
Okay, yeah. Is it touchscreen?
It is touchscreen, yeah.
So that takes at 8. More than on schools like that.
Look, Ryan's taking notes. Lauren's taking notes.
Him? Oh, no! I can't catch on! Called me Lauren.
Was that on?
Everyone's calling you Lauren.
Let's do it.
I was like, where's Lauren? I was like, there's probably another Lauren in the class.
Sorry.
That's not my name.
Do you want to copy my name?
No, it's just me a copy.
So are you like praying for sleep again last night?
Oh my god, yeah. You haven't seen it. I'm doing my experience tomorrow on Friday, so I'm just like, please. I think so.
She's got your email address anyway, actually.
Has she?
Yeah. If not, I'll chase her up.
Yeah, thank you. I'm still waiting for her.
Zach Schrock. All the jingles on the system like that.
Random.
Your face makes me worry about you.
Yeah.
You're like this. I just talk very you smile at me. Yeah, keep held up, so I know I've actually just realised now I've definitely got a cold. I've got a cold too. I've had a cold for 3 months.
Press full screen.
Why is the doctors this? Like, it's just a virus.
You need the lose.
No, I'm just really nervous.
You'll be fine, Lauren. Right, ready when you are. Okay, off you go.
Huh? No, sorry. Where did you click the thing on?
Just touch the board at the bottom of the middle.
Hi, my name is Lauren Beer. I'm here to talk to you about my work experience. Where do you press it?
Might be easier if you just use the mouse.
Spacebar.
I'm just going to quickly talk about, just before I came to university, I studied at Park Lane College in Leeds, and I did media production, and during one of our units we had to make an advertisement for the radio, and this sort of created my interest in radio. So I noticed that there was a studio in the college which I inquired about getting my own show because no one ran shows. So this was sort of, I learned that if you see an opportunity you've got to go for it, and ended up with my own show a few afternoons a week. And this was good for learning to plan a show, and also it was good, built up my confidence for presenting. And just before I came to university I took part in something called Real Academy, run by Real Radio in Leeds, and this was organised by Jamie Fletcher, who did The Breakfast Show. And it was a 10-week programme on a Thursday evening for 4 hours. So each week you study a different area of radio. So we read the news, did our own jingles, learned how to pitch ideas for shows, and also spent 2 weeks making advertisement. This was a fantastic opportunity because we got to study a variety of areas of radio, and you got a real insight into how things are run, because it was actually in the Real Radio building, and this confirmed that I did want to study radio production. So on arriving at university we were encouraged to take part in Aspire Radio, which was at the college. I was really enthusiastic about this idea because I didn't have much experience in the actual studios. So each week we were given an idea on what to do the show about. So I think one was Scotland, another week it was Christmas, and so I really wanted to get this started. But when I started I didn't have much experience in the studio, and a lot of my other classmates did. So I think I sort of took a back seat when I was in the studio because I didn't really want to make a fool out of myself, you know, with not knowing what to do. So it took me a good part of the year to actually build up the confidence to ask someone what to do. So I did learn that if you're scared to do something, then just go ahead and do it, because it only affects you by you not doing it. So I eventually learned how to use a studio, and I've built my confidence now. But the good thing about Aspire is there's no pressure of a professionally run station. You know, you can learn at your own pace, and you can do as many or as little shows as you want. But throughout the year, the interest decreased in doing Aspire, and I didn't have the confidence really, or the knowledge to run the show by myself. But hopefully again this year, everyone will want to get it started again. When I started university, I also took part in Nerve Radio. I started a group with a few members of the class. We planned and promoted our show and did a few shows. But we were told there was too many people in the group to actually have our show in the studios. So I stepped down and tried to get my own show, went in person, but I didn't hear anything back. So that sort of came to a dead end. But this year I've got my own show. I inquired again and got my own show. I produce and present a show. It's on a Monday from 11 till 2. What I've learned from doing Aspire Radio is that you always have to plan your shows in advance, because we had some absolutely hectic shows. So I like to do things 2-3 days in advance, get anything that I need recording and edited sorted. And from doing this, I've also expanded my knowledge of using the studios. And from doing the show by yourself, if anything goes wrong, then I know that it's my fault. So there's no one else to blame, so you do learn your lessons a lot quicker. But I have realised it is best to work with somebody else whilst doing a show. There's a lot less pressure, because I still find every single show I do daunting. And it's good to have someone there to bounce conversation off. So next year, or at the end of this year, I'm going to find someone to do a show with. But they're really good people at Nerve. If you do anything wrong, then no one's going to shout at you, which is quite nice. And I'd really recommend to anyone to do a show on Nerve. When I applied for Real Radio in Leeds, I saw the placement advertised. I sent off an application, I got shortlisted, I went in for an interview and got the placement. So I think when I started university, I was a bit naive in thinking that, oh, you know, applications are going to be like this, you just send it off and you get the placement. I didn't realise that it is really, really difficult to get a placement. You have to keep trying. If I sent off an email or an application form, if I didn't hear anything back, I'd just sort of think, oh, well, there's no placement, or they've already, you know, someone's already got a placement there. I didn't realise just how difficult it'd be, because stations don't necessarily need you to work there. You need to show them that you will be an asset to them and you'll make their life a lot easier by you being there. So I've really had to learn. About that. And also, I learned that when filling out applications, I used to really rush them and just sort of send it, you know, write it, send it off and not really check through. So I've realised that that extra half an hour or an hour that you spend on your application could change the rest of your life. You know, you could get an absolutely amazing placement, so you need to really think about what you're writing and take the time. And so the one important lesson I did learn is take time in getting in contact and really think about what you're saying to people and keep trying. If you send an email and no one gets back in touch, then send another email or ring up the station or go in person to show them how keen you are to start there. So from this, I got a placement at Hot Radio in Bournemouth, because last year I emailed Claire, the station manager, who sent me an application form which I filled in and sent back off, and then I heard nothing back. So this year I tried a different route and managed to get the phone number of the breakfast show host, Paul Stevens, who put me in contact with Daniel Baker, and I got an interview. So I got the position, and Daniel asked me what I like to do. I said I like editing. So he paired me up with Sean Burns, who does the drive time show. So I record and edit things together for him, like Vox Pops, for him to put in his show. And this is just a quick example of one of the Vox Pops I did for his Christmas show.
My earliest Christmas memory is watching EastEnders, funnily enough. My first Christmas memory is on Christmas Eve, watching The Grinch. When I got a toy car, and I went crazy.
Waking up at my nan's house and finding me and my brother had got a Nintendo 64.
when I was about 6, I got a puppy for Christmas and I absolutely loved any animals at that time and I was just so happy and it's so cute and I think I cried.
When my dad, one year, actually dressed up as Santa Claus.
So that's just an example of the work that I do there. So throughout my time at Hot Radio, what I plan to do is just simply work as hard as possible, be as helpful as I can be, and always be available for them if they need me. And by doing this, I hope to carry on working there for as long as possible. Within the radio industry, sometimes it can be about who you know rather than what you know. And I was lucky here that my friend's launching his own website called Subversed, that's for music artists that are involved in politics. So he's having 2 launch nights, one in Manchester and one in London, and he's asked me to go. And record the audio and do a bit of filming as well. What I aim to do while I'm there is to interview the artists and build bridges with them. You know, get to know them, let them know that anything that I do create they can put on their website or their SoundCloud, their YouTube channels. So by doing this, I can, you know, make them into a contact. They may invite me to future events, or they may get a contact at a radio station that they want to set me up with, because I think if you help people, then they may be more inclined to help you too. Because if I'm working for free and giving them work that they can use, then I think it will really benefit them. So all I intend to do is to make a good impression with these people, so I can have them as a contact. Because one of the vital things I think in this industry is to have contacts, and if I build up enough contacts, then I could have a promising future. So I think throughout the year I've really matured in my approach to things. I've learnt a lot about the radio industry and applying for work experience. I have realised my failings, you know, where I've gone wrong and not getting enough experience compared to others, and I've really worked on correcting this. For now, some things are still out of my hands. I'm from a small town in Yorkshire, so I'm from a small town in Yorkshire, so to get a placement in London would be pretty much impossible. So from what I said about making contacts, if I make small steps and make more contacts from good work and good impressions, then I could be set for amazing placements. So all I'm going to do is keep applying for my placements, fill out the application forms as good as possible, and don't get upset when I don't get the placements. And I'm never going to give up. Thank you.
Thanks, Lauren.
Thank you.
Questions? Dylan, you got a question for Lauren, please? Imagine you did have a question, Dylan. What would it be?
I've got a question for Lauren.
Go on then.
Lauren, what makes you think that it's going to be impossible to get work experience in London for you?
For example, if I got a work placement for a month in London, and most placements are unpaid, then I'd have nowhere that I could stay, if you get what I mean. There'd be nothing I could do. I can't commute from Yorkshire every single day.
So you say like funds, like for accommodation stuff, come into it a lot?
Yeah, that's a lot to do with it. But if you make contacts with people, then I may be able to stay somewhere in the future. But it's just difficult for the moment.
Where would you like to end up? What's your highest goal?
I want to carry on making things for radio. I like recording and editing things together. Probably working for Radio 4 or a production company that makes things for Radio 4 would be good.
Have you built up any contacts through Hot Radio? Have they put you in the right direction?
Not at the moment, because I only really make things like Vox Pops and things. I'm not really in there that much. I sort of do it at home and send it in. But I think if I go in more often, and I'll get to meet more people. But it's just sort of starting off for now.
Okay, Lauren, thank you very much. Dylan, question next time. Have a question.
Great.
Oh.
No, that's still my, that's still my only question. That's still my only one. What's your goal?
Well done.
Thrilling day.
Yeah. I'm just curious. Do we by any chance have a break?
Yeah, you get a break at 11 o'clock.
11.
That's far more.
Yay! That's fine. We can do that. What do you want me to record it? What time is it start? Oh no, can we go just before 11 so we can get breakfast? Yeah, that's a good point.
Why did that?
You, wait, with that camera, did you take the... Yes, you just take the back. I'll send an email.
Jeff, we've been
if you...
registered.
Sorry?
Just asking, we've been registered.
You will be registered, yes.
Oh, still recording?
If you